Hello, hello, hello. I actually changed because I didn't want to wear my white jacket while cleaning, but I thought we could do a little chit chat while I clean my house. Let me fix my hair first. Now that we're in December, I just feel like it's such a great time to reflect on the year. I've been thinking about this a lot the past week. I low-key feel a little cringe and pretentious saying all of this because I don't know why. I don't know why there's so much resistance to share what I want to share right now. But I'm going to share anyways because this is my channel. Whatever. Because this is my channel, so I'm going to say what I want to say. First off, I want to talk about failure and how I perceive failure. For those of you who don't know me, hi, I'm Noelle. I'm a freelancer and creative entrepreneur. I do a lot of creative work, branding, design websites for healthcare wellness providers. I also have clients, individual clients that I've worked with for a very long time. I've never worked a corporate job before, so I don't know what it's like to be laid off, to not have good annual reports, whatever you guys call that. I have zero context. And I started working as a freelancer straight out of college. And so it's been about 4 or 5 years. So I don't even know where to start. But from the moment I started freelancing, I've worked with so many different types of clients who needed different services from me. So in those ways, my business was very non-linear. And to that point, it makes it hard to track how much I've succeeded and how much my clients have progressed since working with me because, you know, life happens and sometimes these contracts don't last forever. So I have long-term clients and short-term clients. I have clients who work with me and then took a little break and then they come back. The range is all over the place. And in those ways, over time, I'm starting to realize that it has affected my self-confidence as a service provider on how well I do my job and how much impact my work is actually having on my clients' successes. Now, apart from business, I have my personal goals of what I want to achieve as Noelle. And that can be just me being a good daughter, me being a good friend, me being a good adult for myself. I would say, let's just talk about the wins so far and then I'm going to say quote unquote failures this year. I would say my biggest success this year is moving to New York. That has been a very long-term goal of mine since I've graduated college. And I honestly felt very embarrassed that I wasn't able to move sooner because I feel like that reflected my financial situation, my career situation, how confident I felt to move on to that next stage of my life. But I made it. It's been a little over 2 months now. And now that I've been here for 2 months, I love it. And I don't know if this sounds depressing, but it almost feels like I don't know what's next for me anymore. Okay, and let me put that into context. You know when you want something so bad that you don't even know like what is beyond that anymore? Like you don't know who you are outside of wanting that thing. And for me, that was moving to New York. I would visit all the time. I would visit my friends and I just like could imagine my life here, like what I would be doing. But honestly, now that I have it, I don't know what to do with myself. Like I have to create new, real tangible goals for myself. When I first realized this was when I officially settled in, maybe like a month and a half in. And I was like, okay, I have my bed, I have my room, I have my roommate, I have my apartment. Should I go back to Georgia? Like that's how serious I was. Like I don't know what's next for me. And that opened up the conversation of maybe the next step is to expand on my career. So this year I've officially hyper-focused on my niche in terms of my target audience and also the service that I provide, which is branding and website design for healthcare providers. I have that work on top of my current clients that I work with. So it's just a lot to juggle. And then on top of that, I'm also pursuing content creation. Obviously, you're watching this video, so YouTube is part of that big push. And I've tried YouTube many times. I feel like I'm just babbling on right now, but I'm just trying to give you guys context of like where my life is and just reflecting on this year. Damn. But I want to make productive conversation. Okay, so on the topic of successes, I moved to New York and I'm glad I did it. Now I need to find my new mountains I want to climb. Currently, it's building my business to be very strong, to have great systems, to provide excellent care and experience and product And honestly, I feel like a small fish in a big pond. And that's my next move in terms of career-wise. That's work Noelle. And then there's creative, artistic, just a girl Noelle. I want to pursue YouTube. I feel like that would, I don't want to say all that. Oh, that's cringe. Okay, another success is that I've been consistent on my YouTube channel. Hello. And I want to keep it that way. I think consistency is my biggest enemy, and that's something I want to beat going and continue into 2026. So I hope that my YouTube channel is a testament to that. And I think I live a very non-traditional, vibrant life, and I want to be able to share that with other people. And most importantly, like, I just wanted to show younger version of Noelle that I don't have to live such a boxed in life, whatever that means to anybody. But for me, that looks like having flexibility and the resources and the support to pursue my creative and personal life on my own time. Okay, now on the topic of failures, I was trying to pinpoint what did I actually fail at this year, and do I really consider that a failure? Because, you know, a very face value way of considering failure is that I lost a client, or I wasn't able to move to, like, if I weren't able to move to New York this year, and that was a goal that I set for myself, that would have been a failure. But I just don't see my life that way anymore, because I failed so many freaking times if you put life in that way. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and one of my favorites is Emma Grede on Aspire. And she was talking about the context of failures with the CEO of Shopify. And I know this is like a story that everyone talks about, but how all CEOs have failed so many times, and that's just part of the journey. But I think it took so many times of failing and losing and having to start over that I truly understand what they mean. I don't think I feel like I'm like speaking for the camera, not really like what I want to say. Grr. Also, it's so dusty in here. I need to open my windows. Okay, what I mean to say is that this is how I started to perceive failure this year. That is, you can never truly fail. You can only learn. Okay, before you start hating on me, let me explain myself, okay? Let me explain myself. If you don't live a traditional life, if you don't work a corporate life, this one is especially for you. Living life is the expense. Failing at something is the cost of learning something, okay? And if you don't fail faster, sooner, it's gonna only get more expensive and harder and longer to recover. So if you're in your 20s, I highly recommend to start a business or to start something of your own. It doesn't have to be money making. It can just be an organization. It can be a community. It can be a painting. It can be drawing. It can be making music. But you have to start younger, because when you get older, you don't have a lot of options. And when you fail 10 times harder. So some of the things that I want to highlight is, when I failed, like whenever I learned a lesson this year, I realized that was worth the price. Okay, if we're talking numbers and you want to know about my business, it took me 11 months within a coaching program that cost me around $4,500 to understand how a proper marketing funnel works for a creative business owner like myself. And of course, the cost is my time and my money and my energy. So in total, I can say I probably spent around, the program was originally for 6 months, but they just saw how hardworking I was, and I haven't made any sales, so they felt bad, and they extended my program until the end of this year. So I got another free 6 months with some limited accessibility, but in general, I was just so grateful. It took me 11 months to understand and finally know what my coaches were teaching me about this marketing funnel. And then now I understood I need to spend around a little over $1,000 to gain one high-paying client within the testing and the meta ads that I've ran. So for me to start the same exact business, say that when I'm 30, when I'm 35, that probably would take me 2 years compared to 11 months, because I probably would have a husband, probably have children, probably have more needy clients at the time. Does this make sense? So I wouldn't say taking longer to understand, taking longer to get a client through this coaching program that was originally 6 months is a failure. It just took me that much time to understand what they truly were saying, and I'm able to now process in my own head what I signed up for. Now, bringing that back into context of failing, there's so much shame into failing, and there's no way to unshame yourself other than to reframe what failure actually means to you. For me, like, I just genuinely cannot say I failed anything because all I did was learn. When I built my first clothing brand, I made absolutely no money. I blew all my mom's money that she lent me to build my business, and all I did was learn. Even though my business didn't make any money, people knew who I was because of my brand. I got clients from building my brand because they're like, whatever you did for your personal clothing brand, I want you to do it for my business. So in the sense of what that clothing brand meant for me, if my original goal was to make money and I didn't make money, yes, in context of that, I failed, but I actually didn't fail. I just learned and I gained something else, which was clients who trusted that I had the visual creative capability to do whatever I did for my personal brand for their businesses. Are you picking up on my vibe? I hope this makes sense because I feel like my brain is just all over the place right now. But basically, just start now. If you feel like you're failing, stop telling yourself that you're failing. You're failing yourself when you don't do anything about it. If you're in a corporate job, I've never worked corporate, so don't take my word. I'm just trying to put myself in your shoes. If you work a corporate job and you're like, I freaking hate my life, like I'm so unhappy, I'm not making as much as I need to, then you need to do something about it. Maybe that means waking up a little bit earlier in the morning, making intentional time after work to build your personal business, to make content, to do what makes you happy, to do what brings you to your purpose. Like, you need to do it. If you don't do it, that's what failing means. And if you're someone who's a creative, if you're a freelancer, if you're a business owner, you probably understand, or if you just need a reminder, like, you cannot fail. Like, the only people who fail are people who stop and don't do anything about it, people who just sit on their butts and just stay idle. And as long as you're constantly improving what you don't like, what is not aligned with who you are or what you're aiming for, I forgot what I was saying, but basically just don't stop. And that was my biggest revelation this year, that even though these changes are so slow, even though acquiring clients sometimes takes so much time, like, I'm building a foundation. I'm doing all the mistakes now. I'm failing hard, fast, deeply right now, so that hopefully when I'm 35, when I'm in my 30s, even next year, maybe even into 2 years, that I don't have to make those same mistakes again, and I can streamline into the things that I need and want to do, because now I truly understand, and that knowledge is like crystallized in my brain. You know? Okay, so I genuinely cannot clean and talk at the same time, so I'm gonna stop talking and finish cleaning.